Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Deep Ball, Keenan, Curran, Samuel Akem. We got a very, very special guest, Mr. Jaydon Grant with the Calgary Stampeders. How you doing, my boy?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How y'all fellas doing?
Good,
Doing
man.
well, man.
We're good.
Doing
We're
well.
good.
Yeah.
I know we've been.
Appreciate y'all having me on here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Appreciate you for coming on. I know we've been going back and forth with times and schedules and people get grown up and things get. You know, we just got to find a way to get it done.
Yeah, no, it's all good, bro. I was the same way, so I probably had to reschedule just as much as you did.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So first things first, how's the offseason been for you, bro? I know, in the CFL the offseason can be a little different, but how is it? How has it been?
It's been great. It's been great to be back home in Portland. I haven't been back in Portland and been able to stay here and train for, more than 2 weeks since high school, really, because college was only a short break. So
Yeah,
I feel
right.
like the offseason's been great. It's been great to be around family. I got married in February, so that was a blessing.
Yee.
Um, yeah, thank you. And yeah, I've just been in a really good routine, working out with Maury and some of the other guys, Katan. And yeah, it's been awesome.
Okay,
That's
okay.
what's
Who
up,
who you
man.
guys training with? Who's the guy?
My boy Jim Aaron, he
Okay,
runs Gym Fitness in Tiger, Oregon. So we've been there, shoot, 5 times a week, hitting the
Nice.
field a few times, every week, and just kind of building up and getting ready to go. Like you said though, like CFL off season is a little different because it's like a true 6 months off.
yeah,
So there's
hmm
no OTAs, no nothing like that. When you come back, you're straight into training camp.
yeah.
2 weeks later, you're playing preseason, and then in a month of training camp, you're into the regular season. So you kind of got to be ready to go right when you get back.
So
For
so how does
sure.
that work too? Being out, like you're obviously back in Portland now, but do they pay for your housing or do you get an apartment out there or what does that look like for you?
Yeah. Like when you're out there, you get housing money, but it's not like they pay the housing directly. They just
Yeah,
give
yeah,
it to
yeah,
you in your check.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
basically you get your full year salary or whatever in the 6 months that you're there. And then, some guys can decide to stay, for the off season and continue paying the housing on their own, or you can go back and, a lot of guys go back to the States as well. So it just really depends person to person what their situation is.
For sure, for sure.
What is that like? Because I know their rules are a little bit different. Someone can start on the run, right?
Yeah.
And I think
Waggle.
you are our first CFL guest, if I'm not mistaken, right, Sam?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is a new kind of like their football is as much as it's the same. There's
Yeah.
that, like you said, the guy that runs and starts. How is that? Like, does that change how you cover at all?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that took some getting used to for sure, especially one-on-ones, man coverage, things like that. Like, honestly, when I first got up there, I didn't know how to play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't know if I should be off. I didn't know if I should be more low.
Mhm.
I tried pressing it, sometimes.
Yeah.
So that really does take some adjusting to. But once you get in the season, I was playing in a deep defender
Okay.
role,
Yeah.
halfback, which would be, just safety
Yeah.
here in the States. But once you get in those regular coverages and stuff, it's a lot easier to kind of read certain things based on the tempo of their waggle, and that's what
Mhm.
that motion is called, the waggle,
Yeah.
and different things like that. But there's a bunch of other rules that I didn't know about that kind of makes the game different as well.
Break them
Yeah.
down. What are they?
So there's only 3 downs instead of 4.
Yep.
So
Mm.
that's one of them. That obviously kind of changes up the play calling and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
The line of scrimmage is like the defensive line or the defense has to be a whole yard off the ball. And so like
Wow.
Mm.
when you get to those like second, third downs and quarterback sneaks and different stuff like that, it's kind of hard to stop those types of plays.
Yeah.
And then like one of the biggest things that I first originally noticed was how wide the field is. I think the
Yeah.
field's
Yeah.
like maybe 20 yards wider if I'm not wrong, and 20 yards further, like
End
when you
zones are
include
20
the
yards, right? Both
end
end
zones
zones.
are 20 yards, yeah, but the goalpost is at the front of the end zone. But they just made a bunch of rule changes. I'm actually not 100% which ones are actually going to be, intact for this upcoming season, but they
Mm.
did make some rule changes and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
Dang.
one thing I do know about the CFL, because I had a Canadian teammate, Keenan. I was about to say Keenan Curran, Keelan White.
Nope. Didn't make it. Didn't make it. I was
No,
right.
my teammate Keelan White, he was the third overall pick last year. He plays for the Red Blacks, and I know that like an American player has a less has a le- how am I trying to say this? their chances of making the team are less than a Canadian player. So how was that when you first got to the Stampeders? Like, what were your chances of making the team, and how did you, get on that roster and find a way to stay?
I mean, I don't I don't really know exactly what. I don't want to say the American players have a less likely chance. I just think that
Okay.
there's so many American guys that come every year as
Yeah.
rookies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there is the whole thing of the roster limit of Americans compared to, world players and then also
Right.
Canadians. And then
Right.
there's a certain snap count. So it's like, I don't really want to call it politics, but like the politics behind it is kind of necessary because they have to keep that stuff in mind.
Yep.
So that's honestly one of the first things I noticed. Like I saw a lot of good players, get cut
Yeah.
early on. And it was pretty cutthroat. Like guys were coming in and like it seemed like every 3 days, every 5 days, it was like a series of cuts and stuff like that,
Yeah.
within the month. So I mean for me, I try not to focus on that. I just try to focus on what was in my control. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And that was my approach to the game and kind of just been how I always been. And that's really what's allowed me to be successful at every area that I've been, every level that I've been at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good approach. You got to have that approach, right? Especially
Yeah.
with all the things that go on. And it could be the same in the NFL as like, salary cap numbers, and guys they're a casualty of just the front office politics. That's kind of what it seems like with some of the snap count stuff and the mindfulness of like world players, like you said, and then like American players and Canadian players. Sometimes people are a casualty of that. You can't control that, right? You can just control how you play, man. Which is great. It's a great mentality, great approach to have. Do you have a favorite stadium up there or a favorite environment that you've played in?
Yeah, I would definitely say Saskatchewan. Their stadium reminds me most of like big time college football environments.
Okay.
They're gonna sell out every game. The fans are gonna be crazy, cussing at you and stuff like that. And like we were supposed to play a night game there, and I think it was supposed to start at like 7:30. But there was too much smoke in the area from like fires around.
Yeah.
So like they kept delaying it, and they didn't even end up calling the game off until like damn near midnight or something like that. And the fans were still in there.
That's
Like,
crazy.
and so it's like we was ready to go literally from like 5 p.m. all the way to like 11 p.m. until they finally like called it off, and then we just had to play the next day. But yeah, that was a crazy environment. The next day there was something else going on in the city, so it wasn't as many people. It wasn't as crazy as like it would have been playing under the lights and stuff.
Yeah.
But definitely that was definitely probably my favorite environment to play in.
Saskatchewan, is that a province or is that, because is that a province? I know BC is one of them.
I think they are. I think it might be a province, but it's also the name of the city as well.
Okay. It's weird for me trying to figure that stuff out because I know like their provinces are basically
Bro,
our states, but it's like
Yeah,
You know what? I was surprised when I watched there's a lot of people with like French names.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because there's
Which
a
is
lot
pretty
of
cool.
Yeah. There's like Montreal is a French
speaking, right?
province. Yeah. They
Yeah.
speak like everything's in French. I mean,
Yep.
they speak English too, but
Yeah.
I mean, everybody speaks
Quebec.
French.
Quebec is French speaking also, right?
Yeah, that's in Montreal.
Oh yeah.
Did
Okay,
you
see,
guys?
Actually, I think Quebec might be the province.
Look at that. We're just
Montreal.
we're just
We're
Americans,
just some
man.
Americans.
Man, I still don't got it all figured out. I've been up there a year. Man.
Oh, did you guys play Montreal this year?
Yeah, we played twice.
Keenan, there's
Did
only
you-
9 teams. Everybody plays.
No, I
everybody.
know. But did you guys, when you were at Oregon State, did you guys ever play against Portland State?
We did play Portland State in 2017.
Was
Davis,
I
he
don't
tries,
was
but
Davis Alexander there?
Nah, Davis wasn't the quarterback at
Okay.
that time, but I had known Davis since those days. I had some
Yeah.
friends that played for Portland State.
Okay.
Go
Okay.
kick it with them sometimes. And
Yeah.
so I knew Davis. Yeah, they beat us twice this year. Once
Damn.
early in the season, at our place. And that kind of like kicked off like a bad little losing streak for us, and then we lost to them towards the end of the season as well at their place. And that was a
Mm.
cool environment as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
feel like
Montreal.
there's a lot of because he's a type of quarterback, right? Like he's like the Vernon Adams, like quick, can move. Is that kind of the norm for a quarterback in the CFL? As like a quarterback that can move, and how does that change your game from a defensive standpoint?
I mean, I think the same way that it does in the American game. You know, I mean, having to
Yeah,
account for those quarterbacks and scrambling. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something you have to think about. But I wouldn't say that every single quarterback is mobile like that. But there's like some guys like there's a guy named Nathan Rourke. He was the MVP or the
Yeah.
MOP
Indiana,
is
right?
what they called it. I think that was his brother that went to
Okay. Okay.
Indiana.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But no, Nathan Rourke. And the first time we played him, you know, I obviously knew he was really good. You
Mhm.
know, and he could really throw the ball. But I was like, dang, this dude could kind of run. And then we played him 3 times in the year. We played him later in the year, and it was the same thing. Like I think he busted like a 70-yard run versus us.
damn.
And then it was like, look, guys, that's like I didn't really know was fast, and then ended up like really hurting us on some like scrambles or design runs or whatever it may be. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that every single like that's just the typical quarterback
Okay.
out there because
Yeah.
there's some good, you know, pocket passers. But it depends
Yeah.
though. Like a lot of the top quarterbacks like Winnipeg's quarterback and even Saskatchewan who won it last year, you know, are older on like the back end of their careers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe back in the day, you know, they were more mobile than they are now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Okay. Let's go back to your college career for a second. Originally walked on at Oregon State and ended up spending 7 seasons there. What did that feel like by the time 2022 came around, like that full 7-year career?
Man, honestly, it felt like it felt like a blessing. Like when I really reflected on everything that came with it, you know, the entire
Yeah.
journey. Because there was times in my career, especially those first 3 years, where I was just injured, back to back to back surgeries, and
Mhm.
you know, fractured my vertebrae my 3rd year.
Wow.
Mm.
And there was times where I didn't know like if I should keep playing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I even would think back to like, man, should I have just kept playing basketball? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Different things like that. And then after that 3rd year, bro, it was just like a total 360. You know, I never really had any serious injuries after that until like a freak accident my very last season.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it was kind of like a tale of two careers. Like hurt my first 3 seasons, and then the last 4 seasons were healthy and you know team captain years, and really when we
Mm.
turned it all around at Oregon State, and that was one of the most rewarding things to be a part of.
Yeah.
You know, to know that I have contributed, you know, even in a small way to changing the culture and really having having one of the better years that Oregon State has ever seen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That actually leads us to our next question. Obviously, the transfer portal was an integral part when, you know, our latter years in college. Me and you started the same year, 2016. Was that something that led you to stick around? Was like, you know, trusting the process, sticking at Oregon State, or, you know, talk us about why you didn't transfer away from Oregon State?
I mean, for me, Oregon State was the school that gave me the opportunity, you
Mhm.
know. And like I said, once I got to that 3rd, 4th year when I had Coach Smith,
Yeah.
I don't know, just the respect that I had for him, the appreciation that I had for him as a head coach, you
Mhm.
know, how we all contributed to really changing the culture around
Yep.
and, you know, creating that positive environment and high standard for success. That was just something that I never really thought of leaving, you know, or not being a part of or not finishing what we had all started.
Yeah.
And for that, I mean, of course, you have those thoughts like, right, NIL and this, that, and other things, but overall, those things never moved me, you know, in any way close enough to think about, you know, leaving my brothers and also the people at Oregon State who helped me be in the position that I am, you know.
Absolutely.
So, but that's just me. That's just me personally,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
don't look at anybody's decisions because at the end of the day, you know, it's their life, it's their career in this football window, whether you play high school, whether you play college, whether you go on or blessed enough to play pro, it's so short in the grand scheme of life. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I always respect people making their own decisions. And yeah, so I feel
Was
about that.
one more on top of that? Was Coach Smith there at the beginning of your career?
No, Coach Smith was not there. I had a coach named Gary Anderson for my first 1.5 years.
Okay,
Mm.
so part of that, which you kind of just spoke on, but you know, like Coach Smith came in there. When new coaches come in, and this was my thing with Coach Houck, like when new coaches come in, like they don't necessarily have to like keep you around. Like they could tell you to
Yeah.
move around. They could tell you, hey, you should probably look for a different spot. But part of you staying like, hey, he trusted, believed in me, and kept me around, as well as just like you said, like we built this thing together. I'm sure that was super special.
Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, to your point, there is usually some type of, you know, kind of exodus or
Yeah.
mass kind of cutting
Yeah.
that happens. But I think it's really like more with a guy like Coach Smith trying to find guys that he can build with and guys that embody the things really off the field and who they are in a person to build that right environment. And so like
Yeah.
we just had a bunch of good guys, on the team, good dude, guys that really care for one another, care about the success for one another. And so yeah.
Sure.
Nice. Well, you mentioned this a little bit, and not really caring about it and it causing you to not transfer. But NIL became a thing while you were in college. Did Oregon State take care of you at all? Did you get to cash in on that? And kind of talk us through that when things change, right? Did maybe
Yeah.
steak and lobster? Did the apartment get bigger, right? More gas in the gas tank? I don't know. But those are things I think of.
I mean, I would say my very last year, 2022, I mean, we got a little something from the collective, right? And it
Yeah.
was like but that was the only thing that we got like through a collective was this one thing.
Yeah.
And there was other things that I had like outside. Like I had my own a smoothie with Jamba Juice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Did some things. I did what's it like a little me and my roommate did some with McDonald's.
Okay.
Different little things like that. And so yeah, it was cool. I kind of knew going into it though that it was going to be for the next generation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the following year is when I would say Oregon State really
The boys got
tried to
cashed
become
out.
they tried to become on par as much as they could, with the rest of the
Yeah.
conference.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it probably never like Oregon State might never be the place that's going to be on an equal playing field in terms of funding and
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
like that and NIL, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Marcus Shepard, right?
yeah.
He might be able to
Alabama.
raise some funds, boy, because he got the juice, dog. He got
Yeah,
the
he does.
juice.
He does. And I have no doubt like that he will, get more support from
Yeah.
boosters and whatnot and
Yeah.
innovative ways to get more money. But I think that he's more so the right guy for the job because he
Yeah.
understands that like he's trying to build something,
Mm-hmm.
something that the lessons that you learn in the locker rooms transcend just your sport, but carry over into life. And I think those are the types of teams that you see, have success at Oregon State before NIL and also I think after NIL.
Yep.
For sure. It's got to be a
Absolutely.
galvanized locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Originally, and you kind of brought this up, originally a hooper and decided to play football during your senior year in high school. What led to that decision, bro? Like, that is such a late time to make a change, bro. Like, you only like that at that point, a lot of times, because I remember when I was in high school, I remember the story was like, you want to have a decent amount of offers like between your sophomore and junior year, and you want to kind of have that decision kind of made up. And like senior year is when you should be committed and like you're just head into your senior season. What made you to make that change, bro?
Man, I mean, honestly, me actually wanting to play football that senior year, it was just like a thing like, man, this would be my last chance. Like I haven't played since seventh grade, sixth grade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I went to the very first game because I really just planned to be like, all right, I'm gonna make the most out of my senior year. I'm gonna show up to these games home or away and, be there for my friends that are on the team.
Yeah.
And then when I was watching them in the stands, it was something about the team element of football, right? So many guys on the team, so many different roles. There's 11 guys on the field at the same time. And it was something about the team environment, I think, that just drew me to it. I'm like, man, I want to be a part of that. Like, this is my last chance in my life that I'll get to be a part of that.
Yeah.
So I had texted, long story short, I ended up texting the coach, later that night saying like if it was possible if I came out. And then he said, yeah. And then a bunch of different things had happened. Like I was originally supposed to join right away, but then I think I had messed up my ankle, so then they were saying I might be out for too long, and then
Yeah.
I didn't end up getting to play until week 5,
Dang.
week 5 or 6, yeah. So it's like I didn't even get a full senior season either. It was like I joined super late.
So then when it came time, because I'm sure you played basketball that winter, correct?
Yeah, I played basketball. So like the story of how football even became a thought in my mind, right? I was on a visit to Portland State for basketball with my
Okay.
dad, and they were playing Montana State that night. And I was going to go to the bathroom, and when I walked over to go to the bathroom, I seen Houston Lillard, and he had always mentored me and told me to play football long before I ever did play football.
Yep.
And I was always just like, nah, I'm a hooper.
Yeah.
And he waved me over. I went over there, and he introduced me to this guy, this like quarter zip Portland State. And he's like, I'm Andre Roberson, defensive coordinator at Portland State. And I was like, oh, nice to meet you. And then he was like, yeah, Houston's been telling me to check out your tape. Like, I'm not going to promise you anything, but I promise you I'll give you a look.
Yeah.
In my head, in a respectful way, I was thinking, like, I don't care if you look at that tape at all. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. Like, I had no interest in playing football
Yeah.
in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sure enough, the next day we were in Tacoma, Washington for like this MLK Day exhibition team against this team up north. And I get a call like dang near before the game or the night before the game, and it was Andre Roberson, and he was like, we want to bring you on a visit and offer you a scholarship to go to Portland State. And
Dang.
that messed my head up. Like that it confused me, you know what I mean? And
And
so
this is
the
during your
signing-
senior season? This is during your senior
This
year?
is during senior basketball season.
Man,
Yeah, like
you got D1 offer just like that.
5 games, 10 games, or 6
Man.
games, 7 games.
man. And so, but when I look back, like, and then so signing day was like the next Wednesday. I took a visit. I didn't feel right in my heart to commit. I wanted to go play football and basketball, but the football coaches weren't down with that. So I don't know. I just didn't want to commit to anything right there. So lost the scholarship right now. I was kind of like, dang, what do I do? And then that's when I started getting hit up. Like I had originally committed to walk on at Oregon, and then I switched to Oregon State like a month after that.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta give the credit. Like I don't know how. Like it used to confuse me so much. Like how did I choose at that age to play football and just switch up? Like
The lineage says basketball,
and
bro.
I
Yeah,
had
but the
trained for
feet
basketball though. Like
Yeah.
The feet
that's what
said
I had.
football.
That's what I had trained for. Like was basketball. I thought it was gonna be, but I really got to give the credit to God. Like He obviously had a plan for me, and He obviously moved me in a way that allowed me to make honestly decisions that you wouldn't have guessed me at that age would have made. You know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I thank God for that.
Absolutely.
Dang.
Absolutely. Now,
Yeah.
we do have to get into it because, you know, your dad played in the NBA for a while. Were you nice at hoop? Like, what were the schools looking at you for hoop, for real?
I like Portland State was one of them. Liberty, UTEP. No schools like I didn't. The only school that I was going to be able to go there and like have a scholarship was going to be football and basketball combined at Portland State. Right, that was the only thing I had by that signing day.
Yeah.
And so when football said no, I was like, I don't want to go play, just football or just basketball at Portland State.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Great
That's what I'm saying.
decision.
It didn't make
Great
sense.
decision.
It didn't really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean.
No, their basketball team is solid though. Like in the Big Sky, they have some good years.
Yeah, they definitely were. I mean, I think if I would have got like a full basketball scholarship, like then that would have been a done deal. But it was kind of like had a lot to do with the football scholarship too.
Yeah.
It was going to be like this dual thing because football, I think they can give like 50% scholarships at the FCS level.
Yeah.
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 And so,
brother, you did not want to play for them. You did not want to play football for them.
And I remember, and I remember that when the coach told me that, like, he told me like, he was just saying like, kind of like you need us more than we kind of need you. Like you're really raw and we're taking a chance on you. And that's why he didn't want me to play. That's why he didn't want me to play basketball. And so I was like,
hey, behind closed doors, there was like, we need him. We need him. This is the type of guy that slips through the cracks that we need. Oh, man, good on you for making a smart decision. And obviously, like I said, give God all the credit because sometimes he leads us in directions that we don't really know what's going on. But obviously, it's worked out tremendously for you. And hats off to you for making that decision at a young age. So I guess we talked about this. Do you ever like, and I guess this is a further question, but like, do you ever wonder what if you had played football all 4 years? I mean, you ended up where you want to be
Yeah.
in
In
high
high
school.
school.
Um, I mean, I definitely do because I mean, I definitely did at my earlier years at Oregon State because like
Yeah.
being a walk on, especially like I don't know with certain stats, it was like it was political, like
Yeah.
and it was just like, but also I wouldn't change it because like going through that as a walk on and improving it to two staffs and then being rewarded
Absolutely.
by the second staff, like it teaches you like I believe that like sports when you do the right way, like when you do sports the right way, especially at a high level like football or basketball, D1 football or basketball, even any level,
Yeah.
football or basketball. Um, I feel like the lessons you learn really transcend just more than your sport. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think if I had a different journey, I wouldn't be who I was today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I definitely was in those earlier years, like thinking like, man, I think I for sure would have got an offer somewhere, if
Right.
I had played football 4 years or went to Angels camps or did whatever. But like you
Yeah.
said, everything happens for a reason, and God had a plan for me.
Yeah.
What were those biggest early growing pains for you? Like getting into football, like what was the biggest thing that you had to adjust to? And did you look offensively or was it always defense for you?
It was always defense.
Okay.
That was probably what I was best at. Basketball was defending.
Yeah.
And for me, I never really thought to play offense. I just wanted to play defense, and then I joined so late that I wasn't going to play offense and defense,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in high school or anything like that. But yeah, some of those early pains, was that part of your
Yeah,
question as
yeah, yeah.
well?
What were those early growing pains?
I
Learning the
think
game.
I think so for me, like I just went in with a super humble approach and mindset to football because I knew that I was so far behind the eight ball. So like I
Mm-hmm.
just tried to have a sponge mentality and like thankfully like my head coach Chris Miller, he played in the NFL, he played at Oregon in high school. My position coach Alex Molden, he played at Oregon,
Ball.
was a first rounder, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And so it's like I only had good coaching, when I
Yeah.
first started. And so when you're a sponge and you don't question or try to do things your way, you try to just listen to what they're saying to a T. That actually helped my learning curve kind of accelerate, even compared to some of the guys who were a lot more talented than me or higher recruited than me
Yeah.
when I first got to college, because it was the same thing when I got to college. Like I would always get love from my coach for doing exactly what he said,
Being
exactly how he
coachable,
taught it.
man.
And
Yeah.
that's the only way that I knew. So I actually had a lot of early success at Oregon State. Like I made the travel team my true freshman year, like
It's just
175
crazy.
pounds, came in at 6 foot, 163 pounds,
Damn.
gained like 12 pounds over the summer or whatever. But
Yeah.
getting hurt was the biggest things, like showing promise, getting hurt. Next
Mm-hmm.
year I come back, I have like 7 picks and eight total turnovers in spring ball. And then I tear both my labrums,
Oh.
that
Damn.
training camp the next year. And then the third year, same thing. I'm balling, I'm leading in interceptions and takeaways in camp. Then I have a high ankle sprain.
Mm.
I'm out for the first 2 weeks or whatnot. And then that spring ball, my new position coach comes, Coach Smith's there. I fractured my vertebrae, run into a steel fence at Oregon State. So that was like my first 3 years. It was just
Yeah.
super like injury prone. And I felt like anytime I got some momentum and like I really started like feeling it, like an injury or something like that would kind of take the game away from me. And so like
Yeah.
those were those moments where I was questioning like, did I make the right decision? Because I knew that like I could play and that I've shown I could play. Teammates and coaches, they knew as well, but I never got to show it. I
Yeah.
never had the chance to show it because of injuries or whatever it was. Um, but yeah,
Yeah. I got a two-part question.
Yeah.
So obviously Westland, if for Sam's from Oklahoma, he don't really know much about the PNW. Westland, good football school, right? Got to give credit
yeah,
where it's due, right? But do you feel like because you didn't have bad habits, because you just didn't play in high school, that helped you? And obviously you went to school with Elijah Molden, who was like, really good even to this. I think he's still playing to this day, but
yeah.
do you feel like that helped you being able to watch good things in practice in high school. Like, hey, I got a coach that's really good, did this at a high level. I got another guy here that's like pretty dang good, is doing it at a high level. Do you feel like that like was like, okay, this is great. This is how I do it, and then moving to
Yeah.
college.
Yeah. I would definitely say so. Like watching how Elijah moved on the field and how he got in and out of his breaks and where he lined up and
Yeah.
just really being more of a student of the game. Like that was the first thing that kind of really appealed to me is like, okay, like I'm not saying you have to use your mind in basketball, but like the way you use your mind in football is completely different than any other sport,
Yep.
Yeah.
and it's really what's allowed me to have success. Like even in high school, like I can remember the first time that I really understood like this is what film study can do. We played a game
Mm,
earlier in the season. It was like my second game playing, and we were in cover three, and this offense was like a wing T offense.
Ooh.
yeah.
So like we were running a bunch of cover three, and they kept running 5 yards outs on me, right?
Yeah.
But in my head,
It's a
I'm
little
like, I'm a
oaky.
deep thirds defender. I'm just a
Yeah.
deep thirds defender. So it's like they told me like, just don't get beat deep. Anything they catch in front of you, short route, just tackle it. And so
Rally
I
to
had
it.
a
Yep.
few big hits
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But then Alex Morton always told me like, it's like if the quarterback does a 3-step drop, you
It's
can
quick.
play that 3-step. You don't have. I know on Madden it says deep blue zone, but you can go and make a play on that ball if you get,
Yeah.
a read on the 3-step. And so I watched the film. They did it the whole rest of the year. We played them again in the semifinals, first play of the second half. They're like kind of close to our own end zone. Boom. They gives me the 3-step. I read the split, everything I had saw on film, and I picked it off and pick sixed it. And so that was the
Yeah.
first time it kind of clicked to me like, dang, I can really use my mind and I can
Yeah.
study film. And it's kind of like a chess game. And then it becomes a process of an elimination. And then, that's what really gives you the opportunities to make your plays when you're looking at it from like a IQ perspective. And I think that's what really like gets me going about football.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
That's
special.
dope.
That's
Yeah. And
dope.
it's dope. It's like not a lot of kids
At the high
get
school
that
level, I wasn't
experience
even thinking
at the
like
high
that in high
school
school,
level.
bro.
No, because like that is a good program that's got good coaches in place. And it's like if you could take a high caliber athlete like yourself and then teach them the fundamentals and they already have advanced athleticism, it's like, oh, okay, we could do something with this, right?
Yeah.
Case in point. Now, the second part of the question is you talk about, your career early on, a lot of the injuries, right? But you from seventh grade to senior year, you were primarily a basketball player, probably training like a basketball player. Do you
Yeah.
feel like that like was some of the reason, right? Because two labrums, you're not really training shoulders as much as a basketball
Hmm.
player,
Yeah.
right? High ankle sprain, there's nothing really you could do against that. Vertebrae,
Yeah.
there's nothing you really do against that. But do you
Yeah.
feel like your training, once it caught on your third, fourth year at Oregon State, you were like, okay, now I'm cooking. My body matches the sport that I play.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And the crazy thing is, I had a chiropractor and who was kind of like a family friend, like in West Lynn when I was in high school. And I
Mhm.
remember when I decided to play football, he was trying to talk me out of it. He was like, dude, you don't understand your body's built more like a sports car. Like you're not built for all this high impact. Like the body's gonna
Yeah.
give out. And I'm like,
Yeah,
nah,
I'm not hearing
whatever.
you.
Like,
I'm
what I'm
not
saying? I'm
hearing you.
like, and
Yeah.
then when I thought about it, I'm like 2 years in and I've had 3 shoulder surgeries. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I mean, it didn't take me long to realize, once I get to college, then I see these dudes who are freshmen who are built like robots and shit like
yeah.
that. I mean, stuff
Like
like that.
Andre.
Yeah,
Andre.
like Andre. That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm like,
No.
bro, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would definitely say that's when it clicked in those later years. My body definitely better matched up for what a football player has to be built like, because you need that armor, like especially if you're gonna
Yeah,
go in there and play fearless. How I feel like I play the game.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
You do need that armor.
yeah. And
So,
COVID almost was a blessing,
ooh.
right?
Yeah,
Because it gave you extra time, like extra. Okay, yep. Let me get the weight room a little bit more. Boom.
yeah, no, exactly.
Nice.
So you talked about that semifinal run. Did you guys win that game? And did you guys win state that year?
We won in the semifinals, and then we lost in the championship. It was like 14-7. It was like a
Mm.
crazy defensive
Mm,
game. And I was like, man, like those were like I had a couple, PBUs that I could have went and,
So
God.
intercepted. That would have
yeah.
changed the game. And then the last drive where they scored a touchdown, there was a 3rd and 10. It was like kind of on the fringe entering the red zone. and I could have broken it up, and I slipped out of break, and then we ran a crook, and I was worried about getting beat deep, and I gave that up. So I kind of took that like I was messed up about that loss. Like I thought about that loss for a long time
Those
because
state
I was like,
championship L's never leave
dang,
you, bro.
man. And it was like that was something that also I think drew me back to football. Like
Yeah.
I was just like, dang, this can't be how football ends, with this
Yeah.
That
disappointment.
love
and
started to
stuff
come.
like
You
that.
could feel the love inside,
Yeah.
huh? Like, damn, that was fun.
Yeah, yeah. So I never won a football state championship, but basketball we won it 4 times.
Damn. Was Peyton there when you were there?
Yep. Yeah, with same class.
Oh man, golly, boy, you guys had a.
I seen his high school dribbling. That boy was probably nice as hell in high school. I already know.
He's been doing that
Cooking.
like he's been doing that since he was young, bro.
That's like his thing though. Like he knows how to work, huh? Like he puts in the work.
Yeah, I was about to say, and it's like it was almost like it got to a point where I felt like I couldn't be his friend without like, because I wasn't like my first few years when we were in middle school, like I wasn't working like that. Like
he was obsessed.
I would be at the house chilling and like I'm waking up and like he's coming back from the workout. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until like probably like my 8th grade, really freshman year, summer, that I started like working hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then my sophomore year, or actually that freshman year, my cousin Vinny, he moved out to train me. He had just got done playing, and he moved out to train me. And him, my mom, and my stepdad at the time, it was no joke, bro. They got some bad habits out of me, bro. They got all that laziness and wanted to just chill and get. It was like, if you want to do anything, like you're gonna get your work in first. And so that's why I'm saying like I put in a lot of work for basketball. Like, and I was telling somebody earlier, like that changing my habits at that age, you know what I'm saying? Like so late in the game and like going from kind of being lazy and just doing regular and just being the guy that plays hard, and has some talent, to that guy that like is really working 3 times a day, early mornings, before school, after school. Like that was probably the hardest time in my life, in my sports career, is to like break those bad habits. So I try to tell all the young ones now, like build these good habits early. You know what I'm saying? They
won't get it till it's too late, man.
Yeah, and it's like I haven't really seen many, like, especially once you get to college, you know what I'm saying? You got all that freedom.
Ooh.
Like, I'm just glad I got them out before college because, you see a lot of dudes with talent,
bad
you know
habits.
what I'm saying? And it's just like,
and now they get that money in college too.
Yeah, so it's even harder to get through to them,
Yeah.
So I'm sure for you, not to stay on Peyton for too long, but after watching what he did through high school and like from a young age, you are not surprised at all to see the way he's dropping 30 in the NBA playoffs. Like,
no, I'm not surprised at all. Like, and I think that he was always driven, like everybody always, there's a lot of people that he's got a lot of fans now, but like when he was coming up, there was a lot of people that always doubted him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like even you could tell how like dudes like, I mean, by the time we were really on the circuit, our sophomore, junior year, everybody knew that he was a killer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like when we were in middle school and stuff like that, and went to some of those tournaments, it's like people kind of looking at us like underestimating our team and stuff
little
like that.
White boy over there, like he not gonna do nothing.
And then you just got a bunch of kids from Oregon shooting the shit out of the ball, and him leading it, and it was just like that was how high school was too. Like we would go play them tournaments in high school. Yeah. We go play them teams, and nobody thought that we was going, And then like we beat Jalen Brown and them junior year, and so Peyton said he always is talking to him about that.
Wow, that's special, bro. That's special. Dope. That's dope.
Yeah. Okay, so from Westland to Oregon State to Vegas to Calgary, what has been the most satisfying part of your journey to this point?
I think the relationships, bro. I think that's the most satisfying part. And honestly, when I was cut and didn't have a team and didn't know what's next, that's what I missed the most. It was the locker room. You know what I mean? And everything that comes with it, all the people that, you're blessed to encounter and build relationships with. You meet a lot of good people along the way, and a lot of people that really play a role in your journey in one way or another. And so for me, I would say that the most joyful part of this whole experience and all the places I've been is like the relationships that I've got to meet with people on and off the field.
Yeah.
Wow. What was your stint in Vegas like? Obviously, Vegas in itself is an experience, but you're playing football in Vegas. What was that like? Give us a rundown.
Man, honestly, it was a lot different than I thought it would be as far as like being in Vegas,
Yeah.
because you always like hear Vegas. Vegas is like the party and the turn up,
Mm-hmm.
and the craziness. You got the strip and there's a bunch of stuff always going on in Vegas. But I didn't know. Me and my wife both talk about this all the time. Like we didn't realize how chill it can also be as
Yeah.
well. And like the different areas, like the facility was in Henderson and we lived 5 minutes from the facility and we're in a great new community. And, all these communities are constantly being built up over there. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of like really chill areas of Vegas and we loved it. And then, playing for the Raiders, we really had a state of the art facility. And, the
Yeah.
organization is, a first class organization. There's so much history behind it. They got people like Max Crosby was like, one of the greatest teammates I ever played with,
Oh, yeah.
as far as like bringing others along and like just he's one of those like Kobe, Michael Jordan type of workers too. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it was a great experience. Obviously wish things would have went different, as does
Yeah.
everybody who's been in my position. You know what I mean? But I have really nothing but great things to say about, the organization and my time there. Like I really loved not only playing football there, but being in Las Vegas, living in Las Vegas.
So talk a little bit about that transition. You get cut from the Raiders. What
Yeah.
makes you say, I don't want to wait for another NFL opportunity or a UFL potential opportunity? I want to go to the CFL. What was that decision? And I'm sure it was conversation with your agent and things like that. What went into that?
Yeah, and so it was really like I waited the whole season, like get cut at the beginning
Yep.
of the season, right after training camp, and then it's like you're hearing from teams. Like it was just a roller coaster, bro. So much stuff happens that's outside of your control. Like it was probably 3 different times where my agent's like, "All right, you'll be there on Monday workout, or Monday or Tuesday workout, sign, and then the next day you'll be into practice on the P squad or whatever it is." And it was just like every single time something happened or
An
something fell
injury,
through,
so
you
they
know
had
what
to
I'm
sign
saying?
somebody else, or
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it was just exhausting. But like one thing that I never stopped doing was like being prepared the whole entire time.
Yep.
So like from the time I got cut all the way up until last year's season, I was just working and it was just
Yeah.
me, at the field by myself. And so it was hard, you know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, like 90% of the time I did not want to go work out,
Yeah.
when I woke up. But then, I'll just ask God, give me the strength to get in the car. And then when I get in the car, it's like, all right, I'm gonna go to the gym. And then when I get to the gym, you have no choice but to, work, or else, nobody wants to be at the gym wasting their time.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it told me a lot of valuable lessons of like, that was the first time like I really had to like train consistently, hold myself accountable, and it's just me out there.
You don't know what
And,
you're working for.
Exactly. You don't. And you don't know what you want to do. You don't know where you're going to be. You don't know, all you can do. It's kind of like faith, you know what I'm saying? Just like a blind faith. Like, so I used to look at it like sowing seeds daily, just not knowing what the harvest is going to look like. NFL, UFL, CFL, or no football,
Yeah.
but I was like, none of the hard work is going to go in vain. I don't believe that hard work goes in vain. I believe that it's going to help you somewhere along the line, in something in your life.
Absolutely.
Man, I love that testimony, because I talk to kids about that a lot, about just the faith of doing things for the process of who it makes you and not for the outcome, right? We got to be process oriented, not outcome oriented.
Coach Curran.
And I just think like your faith is so much bigger than any sport we play. And I went through kind of a faith journey when I stopped playing football of like, who am I? Right. And we all have this identity crisis sometimes. But I think if you have your faith rooted in the right things, i.e. me, Jesus, it lets you know that you are so much bigger than the thing that you do. And and when you were in that period of time where you were training with nothing in sight, it was just like, I'm doing this because God's given me the ability to do this. And the person that it makes me when I train, right? I'm ready for the opportunity if it comes. And if it doesn't come, I've learned something through this that's going to make me better in whatever the next thing is, or chapter of life. So,
Amen, Keenan.
Amen. Amen.
Sorry for the sermon.
No, man, that was good. I love that.
So speaking of that, right? If Jaydon wasn't playing football, what would you be doing?
You got a master's degree, right?
Yeah, I got a master's certificate, and then I got an MBA in marketing analytics.
Okay.
But man, I can't really boil it down. Like, humbly speaking, I feel like God's equipped me with so much, that I could be successful in a lot of things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just based off of how I'm going to approach it and kind of trying to shift the mindset of like hard work and apply it to however it applies to whatever I do next. And so
Yeah.
I think that above all, though, instead of thinking about success or anything, I just think that I would be doing something. I hope I would be doing something that I feel as much purpose in doing as football. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? And like you said, like I was talking about, like a lot of that purpose that I find in the day to day is off of relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I think something that's kind of working in a team, something where you're kind of working with others. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I think can't really call it exactly what it be, but
Yeah.
somewhere
Yeah.
along those lines.
You want to
And you've
stay.
got great exposure to
Yeah.
it. You got, I mean, your dad, like you talked about, I think off camera, that maybe it was on camera, but your dad being a liaison for the Blazers. And then obviously there's coaches that have made a lasting impact in your life. Like,
Yeah.
it's cool when you get to play the game at the level that you have, but also the connections and the relationships that you have that you see. Usually for someone in our shoes, it's like, oh, I'm going to go coach. But you now know, and you got the education to say, hey, I could go do something else and still have an impact and be
Yeah.
purposeful in life. So
Yeah.
that's super cool.
100%.
My bad,
And even
Sam.
coaching, like
You're good.
even coaching, like coaching would be another thing that like would be very purposeful because I know I would approach it, like I said. I mean, like you were saying, and we've all been blessed with, certain coaches that really make an impact on us, on and
Mhm.
off the field. So that's another thing. Coaching is just like, what I think about is just like, man, like people don't understand how much time coaches
Dude,
are
our
in the
last
building.
guest we had on was
They
having
do
this same
not,
conversation.
bro. They don't leave, bro. They don't leave. They're there before you. They don't
Yeah.
leave until way after you,
Yeah.
and they don't get to play. You know what I'm saying? And they got meetings and all sorts of extra
Talk
stuff
about
all
it.
throughout the day. So it's
Talk
like,
about it.
Yeah.
man, and then, not getting to suit it up and doing all that. It's
I don't know
Yeah.
about that.
That's why it's high school. Look, high school is the level. It's like you don't got a game plan too much, right? You can be there. You can make
get
an
that good
impact.
family life, work-life balance.
Yeah, you got the work-life balance, but yeah, the college coaching thing, man.
College
I think
and
it's
up.
glorified.
College and up.
It's glorified. Yeah,
yeah.
college and up. Yeah, it's glorified, man. Because it's like, bro, they put in hours. They don't get to see their family.
No, yeah, exactly.
Miss
It's
me.
tough on the fam. Like, shout out to all the coaches' wives, because when they be giving the appreciation and saying like their wives be holding it down, I'm telling you, they have to be because
down.
because they be in the building all day, bro.
Yeah, man.
All day.
Night.
Yeah, man. As you know, Keenan and I played at Montana, and your current head coach is a Montana legend. What have you learned from Dave since you've been in the CFL with the Stampeders?
Man, Coach Diggy, I think, how the vibes around the organization, inside the organization in the locker room, the type of people that he brought into the building, it really just, that matters a lot, especially when you're in a situation that's new and a little bit uncomfortable, you know what I mean? And it was really like a breath of fresh air to get to camp that week and see, like, I remember that first team meeting, I'm like, okay, like, he's a cool guy, you know what I mean? Like, serious about football, serious about winning football games, but like, I could tell, like, he cares, you know what I'm saying? He cares about the players, and he's the true players coach, like, takes care of us and whatnot. And so that was really the biggest thing, is just like, man, he's really created a place that like players that are there really enjoy being in, they really enjoy coming to work every single day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let me one more. Dave is a college football national champion, a Grey Cup champion as a player and a coach. Did you did you know how decorated he was when you first got there? And then did you know how decorated he was when you first got there?
I mean, I had to do my own research when I like first got signed and see who he is. Same with my position coach, because my position coach is, was a Hall of Famer in the CFL as well. And so there's another D-line coach as a first ballot Hall of Famer as well. So, I kind of got to know you, and it was like, yeah, obviously you have a intrigue and an interest to kind of have more conversations with those guys and really be a sponge as much as you can, because like the ultimate goal for anybody who plays a team sport should be to win a championship. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I don't care if I'm in the CFL, UFL, XFL, NFL, college. That was always what I wanted, was
Yeah.
to accomplish that team goal, that's so much bigger than just anything that a personal accolade or anything like that can get you. So, yeah, definitely am blessed to have a coach that understands what it takes, and
Mm-hmm.
has lived it. And, it's really easier for players to buy in, especially when it gets to playoff time and talking about trying to accomplish that goal as the season progresses.
Nice. Well, speaking of good players, I want to take you back down memory lane and then into current day. Name the best player that you played against, or the best matchup that you had in high school, college, and at the pro level. It could be either,
All right.
or like one from each. Yeah.
One from each. Okay, I would say, man, it's hard. Like high school, I mean, I played against some good
Did you guys play Westview in
guys
high
in
school?
high school. Nah, we didn't play Westview. We didn't
You
play
guys play like
Westview.
Central Catholic and Jesuit?
I never got to play them, so I
Okay.
would have like I got to play like Jesuit. Actually, we played them in championship. We lost to them. They had a running back, actually,
Okay.
Jason Talley,
Okay.
who
Okay.
he had like 50 touchdowns, 50 rushing touchdowns or something crazy that year, and was kind of big, 6'2", 6'3", kind of like big running back like that.
They love the big
Um,
running backs.
yeah, so high school's a little bit harder. I mean, I think I would just say Elijah Molden. He was on my team, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was
You guys compete
ridiculous in
against
high
him.
school, bro. He could have played running back in high school. Like he was so raw on offense. Like
Yeah.
it was nice. I would say college, man, it's hard because like you gotta give me a position.
Receiver.
Yeah, like a receiver.
You were a DB.
Receiver. Yeah. Drake London, I think.
Whoo,
I think Drake London.
boy was
Bro.
nasty at SC.
He was nice, bro. And he was physical, bro, and he caught everything contested, bro, and his yak, and it was like he was smooth, you know what I'm saying? And it made sense to see that he was like a high level hooper as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because he kind of moves like that. And it's kind of like natural, like
Yeah.
on the football field.
And he
Yeah.
played at SC, did he? Didn't he?
Yeah, he played at SC. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
So I would say him at receiver for sure.
Okay, and then
Yeah.
the pros, whether it be NFL or CFL.
I say Devontae for sure is the
Ooh,
best.
that's a good one.
Yes.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
good
he
one.
ran. But also Hunter Renfro was
Yeah.
Yes.
Hunter Renfro was tough in the slot, bro. Hunter
Yeah.
Renfro was super tough. But yeah, Devontae was like that was a guy that I was like, okay, like how he runs his routes is like art. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
really like everybody's not doing it like that. You know what I mean?
Another
They don't got
hooper.
that freedom.
He was a big
They don't
hooper in
got
high
that
school.
freedom.
Yeah.
He got
Yeah.
freedom, bro. He got freedom. Like he knows where to get to in what timing.
Yeah.
And it's like we're gonna trust that you're gonna be there and do what you got to do to get there.
Bro,
Yeah, exactly.
I always tell people this, bro, because I was a big Devontae fan when I was in college and when I was growing up. Like, just go look at that man's Fresno State numbers. He left as a sophomore, a redshirt sophomore. People don't do that, and he was a second-round draft pick, bro. Like,
Yeah.
just go look at his college numbers. Derek Carr was his quarterback, by the way. Dude left
Yeah.
after 2 seasons. He was ready. He was league ready, bro. Dude is nice.
Yeah.
Been nice.
Nice,
Yeah, he's
legit.
crazy.
Well, that's a good one, man. Obviously, Elijah Molden in the league, Drake London in the league, Devontae, obviously, probably
Yeah,
gold
favorite.
jacket guy.
Yeah.
So you got to see some good dudes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
Feels like through your entire football career, you've been doubted the whole time. What would you say to someone who may be getting overlooked like you? What would be your message to them?
And it's like my answer would have been different a few years ago,
Mhm.
because a few years ago, maybe even a little bit before that, like that's what really used to drive me.
Yeah.
Like that's what used to like motivate me. Like, oh, people think I can't do it. Like people are doubting me. Like like I said, like first 3 seasons, like I'm balling, but people I don't know. Like my high school head coach is like, hey, you sure you still want to play and stuff like that. And it was like I used to take things like that and hold on to them.
Now that
Anything
makes
that
me want to play
anybody
more.
anybody that ever said I couldn't do anything like that would, and then it got to a point where like that didn't move me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't
Mhm.
sustainable for me, and I didn't want to continue to put my energy in like the doubt.
Yeah.
and would rather like put my energy in the people that believed in me and supported me,
Mm.
and match it with the same work, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so that's kind of where I'm at a place now. And so I would say like for anybody who's looking overlooked or like doubted is to just like find your confidence in your preparation in your work. Knowing that you left no stone unturned in your preparation, in your work ethic, that gives you a different feeling. Like it's like whatever happens, like you can't control making every single play, that you get, but you can control how you approach the game and how you approach life. And so for me, it would be that I guess to kind of sum it up. I know it's kind of all over the place,
No,
but
I like that, bro. I like that. I like the
Yeah.
mindset shift, and I like the fact that, like, in the beginning, yeah, that is what drove me. But then, like, I had to shift that because, well, go a little deeper in that though. What was it that spoke to you in your head to say, I don't want to let the doubt drive me, and I want something else to drive me now?
I think it was honestly my faith, right? Because it was like the same time I was coming into my faith,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't like it was just kind of so opposite from how kind of Jesus lived his life,
Yeah.
and it was like I think that's what kind of internally resonated with me. It was just like it just stopped motivating. Like it didn't do the same thing to me. Like
Yeah.
and like I remember somebody close to me, um, like when I was a senior in high school, like got in a kind of like argument or whatever, and they told me like I wasn't never gonna like, you know, make it. I wasn't gonna make it to the pros or stuff like that, and I held on to it, and I was kind of like stuff like never had no hard feelings over it because like the person obviously apologized and we made up and stuff like that. But like I remember on my draft party, like I'd held on to it for 7 years, when I finally like did get that opportunity to go to the next level, like I was kind of like, yo, and joking, well, you remember this, like when you said this, and they were looking at me like, what are you talking about? Like,
I remember.
and it was like it did not like they didn't remember, like,
Yeah.
and so it was like that didn't hit this, it didn't feel good that I did that. I'm like, dang, I wish I would have never even brought that up. I wish I never would have even
Yeah.
held on to that. I wish I never
Yeah.
even like, and so that's when I realized like that don't move me no more. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right.
Like because it kind of creates this like I don't know, this own kind of hate in your heart a little bit.
A
You
little
know what
bit.
I'm
Yeah.
saying? When you're so focused on haters and you're so focused on people that don't believe in you, like it kind of does something to your heart a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Man.
so for me, it was just like I can still keep this same like, kind of killer dog mentality while also only while also not doing it for the people that don't believe in me. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Doing it for the people
Yeah.
that do believe in me.
Because
Um,
you're carrying that. They're
yeah,
not.
exactly,
And
100%.
it's like it's such a heavy burden to carry, like that feeling to prove others wrong when, and it kind of, you talk about like faith, it's more of the love that you have for the people that believed in you and the love
Yeah,
that you have for yourself, where it's like I'd rather just prove people right. I'd rather
yeah,
just prove all the people that believed in me right than proving everybody else wrong, because it's
hmm,
like I'm just carrying the burden of hate. And that's
yeah,
not
Yeah.
what Jesus would ever do, right? It's like
yeah,
three
yeah.
things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. So good on you, man. Like, I love hearing that, because I think so many people live a life to prove others wrong. And it's like, nah, man, like, why can't we just live a life of
Yeah,
love and loving the people that love us and trying to do our best because of that?
yeah, and
Like, it
then
takes you a
don't,
lot further in
yeah,
life.
yeah, and
Go
don't get
ahead.
me wrong, like I'm still human, you know what I'm saying? Like
For
Yeah.
sure.
I'm
We all
still
are.
human. If somebody was like, before the game, tell me I ain't nothing, and stuff like that, like
Nah.
I can't
He
say
got to
I'm not
see
gonna have a
you.
little extra,
Yeah, for
pew towards that, but
sure.
like I'm not, it ain't green like that, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it's like it's just the overall mentality. And when I find myself, I try to catch myself and I feel kind of conviction over kind of that mentality, and I'll try to catch myself right then and there and kind of acknowledge it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
That's a great
shift
testimony.
back.
I'm sure that moment when you hit up dude who doubted you, you kind of felt like that meme where it's like it's not that deep, where the dude's in the water and it's not that deep. It's like you
Yeah,
thought it
yeah,
was so deep, and then you try to get
yeah.
at him, and you're like,
It
damn, like
was like,
he didn't even feel it the
yeah,
same way I felt it.
exactly. And it was just like, and it was like the person never, and it was also not like it was said out of emotion even at the time, and I
Yeah.
knew
Mm.
that, so I never held it against them. But it was just like this other part of me made it like it was like that was reality, like that was how that person really felt, or like if that was even a thing when it was really just a heat of the moment thing that was, what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like that's why it was like, dang, like they really don't remember that at all. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
And anger drove them to that statement, right? You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
they didn't even mean that. Anger drove them to that. Who are we to hang on to anger and like allow it to fuel us when it's like, man, it ain't even that powerful.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
So this one, what is something that failure taught you that success never could? I think that's the way the question's written.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is something that failure taught you? I think that it's just like, man, this is just my testimony, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think that like I would say it took me for being like it was this quote that I used to like live by when I was first coming into my faith, right? And it was like it takes you hitting rock bottom to realize that God is the rock at the bottom. And
Wow.
so for me,
Preach.
that rewrote like finding God at my lowest and seeing how he's kind of transformed me, and how, I mean, obviously I'm still continuously every day a work in progress, but like seeing that growth and being in that state of humility, learning what humility truly means, you know what I'm saying? Knowing that I'm really like so small, compared to
Mm-hmm.
the Lord. And to knowing that like all of my goodness and all the things that I gave myself credit for was all him, and then like giving him all the glory in my entire journey, like that was something that I think what the world would say personal failures and athletic failures taught me, that success in that area, I don't know if I ever would have learned it or how I would have learned it otherwise. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I know that was kind of
I love it.
That
all
was
over the
great,
place
bro.
too, but
No, I love it,
It
bro.
took you to
Spot on.
hit rock bottom to realize God was the rock at the bottom. Yo, that's a
Yeah,
bar.
yeah,
Whoever told you that,
that is a
that's a
bar.
bar, man.
that
Oh
was,
Yeah,
my
I
goodness.
ain't, I ain't, I ain't write that. That was seen it
yeah.
like on
Wow.
Instagram or something like that back in like
That's
5 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
it's dope.
When Jaden Grant's football career is all finished, what do you want people to say about you?
Man, I first of all, I mean, for my teammates, I just would want them to say that I was a great teammate,
Mm-hmm.
that I genuinely cared for their success, just as much as my own. And I pray that, I mean, I hope that they would say that I was a guy that did whatever it took, to win or contribute to winning, was
Yep.
selfless. Um, and then on the field, like I've always felt like people know me for just like my heart, and just like how I play the game. I believe it's really only like one way to play the game, and that's all out. And the moment that I realized that I don't play the game that way anymore, I won't be playing the game anymore.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And so like really just the things that are in my control, that I approached the game the right way, that I respected the game the right way in its entirety. You know what I'm saying? And that I worked to try to try to accomplish that goal of winning, in everything that I did. And
yeah,
so I think more so than being a great player, or you know what I mean, like the individual things, how good can I be? I think is more importantly like how you would positively affect people that you're blessed to have your hands able to reach. Like I was saying, all going back to those relationships.
Absolutely.
yeah.
I love that.
That's awesome. So, last question that we always ask. So, what would you say to the young Jaden Grant that maybe it's young Jaden Grant basketball player, young Jaden Grant football player, or just a young kid from Oregon that wants to play a college sport? Um, what do you say to that kid? How do they get into your shoes one day?
Man, I mean, I think I would go back and tell myself, I wish I would have known who Jesus was earlier,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously you can't get time back. But I think that's the first thing that I would, tell myself is to like
Yeah.
get to know Jesus and strengthen your relationship with the Lord, because that's more important than anything in life. And also when you're in alignment with your faith, everything else just seems to be working out, because you're
Mm-hmm.
kind of just walking how he wants you to walk. That's a hard thing for a kid to understand at that age, who hasn't gone through things that they need to go through, throughout their college football careers and in life. So I think I would also say keep those horse blinders on, meaning focus on your lane, right? Don't look at anybody else's lane. Don't try to compare yourself to nobody else. Don't try to want what anybody wants. Don't be jealous or envious or anything like that. Focus on you and control what's in your control, because there's so many things that are outside your control. At the moment you give your energy to those things outside your control, you're going to mishandle what's in your control.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be my biggest piece of advice. That's what I tell kids all the time. Like, look, just control what's in your control, because there's already enough that's outside of your control that you'll never be able to control. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well make sure that things that you can control, your approach to the game, how coachable are you, your character, how you treat people. Like, you better make sure that you're doing those things right, because like I said, those things will transcend far beyond sports.
Absolutely. Man.
Look, I love all the guests that we have on, but this message by far my favorite message. By far my favorite pod.
This has been great,
because of your approach and your testimony, and just how adversity has carved and shaped you, and how it is like adversity is the greatest thing that can bring us closer to Jesus, because it's an opportunity for your faith to grow. And you being vulnerable and open about your adversity and how it shaped your faith, I think is a testament to all young, like every young athlete needs to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bro. Like I love when I read the word, nowadays, where it comes up in Bible study, right? And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
it just starts to click in your life. Like the scripture, I believe in James, where it talks about adversity, right? Like you're guaranteed to go through trials.
Yes.
And like trials and tribulations are the only way that you can build perseverance, and without perseverance, you can't be complete, as a person.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, man, that was one of those things that's like, the more I started to know that scripture, the more that God showed me how true that's been in my life. You know what I mean? So,
amen, man.
Amen, man. This is great, man. I appreciate you so much for coming on, bro.
I appreciate you guys.
I know it took us like a week, bro, but like, man, this was so worth it.
It was worth the wait, baby.
Man,
Worth the wait, dog.
Appreciate you so much, bro. We're gonna be watching your journey. Good luck this season. I know how long you got till training camp? A couple weeks, right?
I leave on May 8th. Yeah, so like a week and a half.
Okay.
A couple weeks.
Well, good luck, bro. All the best to you. We'll be praying for your health, praying for a great season, praying for success, and just come visit us down the road when you guys win that ring, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me on there.
Yeah, brother.
Absolutely.